Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. In today's video, I wanted to share something very important related with water therapy. Of late, I have seen a lot of people are getting into this practice of water therapy, and a lot of times people are not getting a good amount of success, and at times people are even losing their succulent. So if you're going to take my advice or my suggestion, I never tell you guys to do a water therapy even if the succulent is extremely dehydrated. You might have seen I just keep it in the soil, I give a good watering. If the roots are healthy, the succulent will definitely revive back. But if your roots are not healthy, even the water therapy is not going to work out really well. You can see this is the image. Now this is probably the third or fourth person who has shared an image like this. Unfortunately, I was not able to recover the other videos or the pictures because I have lost the footage, but this was the image that I had saved in my folder. So you can see over here the succulent is almost gone. I'm sure if you're going to touch the stem, it's going to be something like a jelly substance, because I'm sure the stem is gone completely soft and it must be very mushy. And the roots that you see, definitely the roots look very healthy, but trust me guys, once this plant is put into the soil, which I'm not very sure if the succulent has survived, but if the roots are put into the soil, these roots are not going to survive because these roots have adapted to that water or to the water therapy that was being conducted, and as soon as these roots are moved into the soil, they will die. And I'm not very sure if this stem is going to put out any more roots once you add it into the soil, because the stem looks like it's completely gone, and I don't think it's going to survive for too long. So be very careful. I know a lot of people do say that they have seen a video on a YouTube that the person had kept the succulents in water. Now I'm not very sure how it tends to work out. For some people it does work out, for some people it doesn't work out. Now I can't speak on their behalf because I have never tried this method, and I don't think I'm ever going to try this method, because for me the air rooting tends to work out really well, or keeping it on the dry soil or dry coco peat also tends to work out really well. So I usually do not prefer to do the water therapy. Apart from that, the roots that are generated in water therapy, you tend to keep the succulent in the bottle with a little bit of water, and the roots are kind of growing according to that in that closed environment. But the moment you take the succulent out with the roots and you put it into the soil, most probably what I have heard from people is around 80% of the time those roots, they do not get acclimated or adjusted, or they do not settle down into the soil, and those roots tend to die, and then the entire process starts again, provided if the stem is still very healthy. Like in this image, I don't think putting this succulent into the soil is going to help, because the stem looks like it's completely gone, it's completely discolored, and just by looking at the picture I can tell you that if the person is just going to touch the stem, it's going to be very mushy and soft, and it looks like it's already in the early stage of rot. And those roots are not going to survive in the soil. They will eventually dry out and fall off, because those roots were grown inside the bottle with water, so they are kind of acclimated to that environment, and putting them into the soil is not going to work out really well. So be extremely careful, because this is almost the third or the fourth person who has shared such images. I remember last time as well, somebody had shown me the image and I couldn't help that person, because I myself didn't know what advice should I give, because the succulent is almost gone. By the time I could have advised anything, in the picture itself I could make out that the succulent is already gone, because the entire stem was dark in color, the leaves had turned dark in color, so there was no option of saving the succulent. So be extremely careful. A lot of times things don't work out in the same way how we think, just by looking at someone else's video. Probably this person is in a very different environment, or probably the type of succulent that has been used for that particular video is a very different succulent. A lot of these Echeveria hybrids or the Pachoveria hybrids or Pachophytum hybrids will definitely not work out really well. Probably a very hardy succulent. Again, I do not suggest you guys to do this method, because it doesn't work out really well. It's like a 50-50 chance, and I would say it's not even a 50-50 chance. I would say it's more like a 80-20 chance. 20% it might survive, 80% it might fail. Like in this image that you can see, this succulent is not going to survive for too long. It's already struggling, or I would say in this video, it's in this clip itself, in this picture itself, you can see the stem is completely gone. So Be very careful, guys. It's as simple as just putting your cutting into the soil or just letting it air root. You might have seen ample amount of my videos wherein I'm air rooting them, and you can see the amount of bushy pink roots that tend to come out, and then I just go ahead and add them into the soil without any water therapy, without even misting the succulent. You can see the amount of roots that my succulent has. This was a cutting that I had done, and you can see how healthy the roots are, and there was not a single drop of water that was added. Of course, after putting it into the soil, I will be going ahead and watering it after a couple of days, but you can see without water therapy as well, the succulent is doing extremely well. The stem looks excellent, the roots look very healthy, and these are acclimated to the open environment and not to the water therapy. So these roots will not die if I put them into the soil. So be extremely careful, guys. Don't fall for things what others are saying. You experiment it. Most of the things that people tend to show does not work out really well for another person, probably because it's a very different environment and it's a very different climate, or it's a different type of succulent. So that's all about it. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.